Hello, welcome to the Together in Jesus overview video. I'm David DeZina, publisher at Pflaum, and I'd like to introduce Terry.
Hi, this is Terry Cotting-Mogan. I'm the regional manager for the West.
And Terry and I are going to go through the Together in Jesus program, talk about the different components, the website, and the special features that we have available. And if you have any questions, suggestions, comments about the Together in Jesus program, feel free to email us at editor@pflaum.com, and that goes directly to my email, and you can communicate, talk about anything you need to talk about. First, let's begin with prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. We are gathered here today to listen to stories about Jesus. These stories tell us about Jesus sharing food with his followers. We're preparing to share Jesus' special meal at Mass. Open our ears, Jesus. Help us to understand how your followers were changed when they shared food with you. We know that we too will be changed when we share the Eucharist. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. This prayer was taken from the First Eucharist Teaching Guide for Lesson 3, so I'll be referring to that in a little bit. I'd like to start by just sharing the way the program is set up and some of the main components. The First Reconciliation or First Eucharist folders contain 6 children's lessons in a keepsake folder, stickers, 4-page parent handout, a family time poster with at-home activities, and bilingual editions are also available. So first, let's look at the Eucharist and Reconciliation folders, and then we can talk about the confirmation with First Eucharist folder. So First Reconciliation folder has it's glossy, so it's durable for the year or how long you have your program. There's a place that you can either put a sticker or write with a Sharpie the person's name, the student's name. And then inside on the pockets, we have main prayers that they should know: the Lord's Prayer, the Hail Mary, the Glory Be, the Act of Contrition, and then also how to receive this. I gotta get used to that here. How to receive the Sacrament of Reconciliation and basic steps. So this is a good review for the whole time, and it's helpful for the parents too. So these are like the main things that people should be teaching their children.
Hey, David, if I can
go ahead.
interrupt you. In the stickers, there is a label here to put on the front.
Yes, and inside the folder, when you receive your folders, they'll have all 6 lessons. The poster and the stickers will come together, what we call nested, similar to those for those who use the Gospel Weeklies. The lessons separate, so they're not glued together. You can send these home, or if they're using the lessons at home, they just work one at a time. And if they want to bring lessons back to faith formation, you only have to worry about the one lesson and not lose the rest of the lessons. So there are the 6 lessons, and in the middle of the nest itself, you'll see, as Terry just mentioned, a sticker sheet. And on the sticker sheet are all stickers that will be used during the lessons, and you'll see places for that within the lesson. And then we added completion stickers for each of the 6 lessons, and that goes on the back page of every lesson. And it's a good way to keep track if the lesson is being taught at home. They can bring the lesson, you can give them that sticker to say that they've completed it. It's a good way to track it, or just in general as a way to say that I've completed this lesson, like a mini certificate for each lesson. And then this is the sticker that Terry was referring to that has name and parish that can be placed on the cover as well. So then we have the inside also are 2 other posters. This is the family time poster. So it's a great overview for parents. It gives a general overview about how to use the poster. And then each section is a quick overview, an activity, something to do at home that's tied to the theme of each lesson, with an activity or questions to ask or discuss. It's a front and back. And then also, it's at the end, this poster was completed by, to prepare for the first reconciliation which took place. So it's a good reminder. Also, you can put that date even ahead of time to remind parents when the celebration will be. And then the other part, this is great for parent meetings as well, is a 4-page FAQ, frequently asked questions that parents ask about first reconciliation. And it just walks through the common things that people would ask as their children are preparing for sacraments. Terry, you want to add anything else to that here?
Yeah, I do want to add something regarding the poster. The poster is a great way to keep track because you do want the families to be able to be participating in this as well. So I always encourage catechists to encourage the children to bring the poster back and forth each week. That way they can check to see if the family is doing anything. If not, then the director can follow up with that. Because what you don't want to have happen is at the end of the program, the families then do a marathon night where they're trying to cover all 6 of those lessons at one time. They should be working with you throughout the program.
Thanks. And then just look at the first Eucharist, same format, all 6 lessons in a nest, and then the stickers and poster inside as well. And that you'll see on the completion stickers as well, the name that goes on the cover if you would like, and then the poster and FAQ also, the same format, front and back, and then also preparing for first Eucharist, which took place on. So another reminder, you can pre-fill it with the date to remind them of the date of the first communion, and then a 4-page FAQ. The folder for first Eucharist has prayers also. Again, the main prayers that most children should know or need to know: Lord's Prayer, Hail Mary, and Glory Be. And then the steps of how to receive communion on this side, which is probably a good refresher for the adults as well. So and then you can put other things in the folder. If this is going back and forth, you could put handouts, different things for your program can go in here as well. Anything else, Terry, on that?
No, other than the fact that I would not, when I give that folder to the students, I would not give them all 6 lessons at one time, though. I would only give them the lesson that they're going to be teaching with at the time.
Great. What's helpful is that you could really adapt or modify as your needs allow. If the whole program is being done at home, obviously you can give them the whole packet. And Terry said if it's something that's done during faith formation or during a special session, you can give it to them one at a time in the folder. So you just can adapt it accordingly. For the confirmation with First Eucharist folder, it contains 8 lessons, which are the same 6 lessons as you have in the First Eucharist, plus an additional 2 on confirmation. Again, stickers, handout, and family poster. So you'll see that here. The prayer, this pretty much follows the folder like the First Eucharist, where it has the Lord's Prayer, Hail Mary, and Glory Be, and then how to receive communion. And then how it works is the first lesson is the same as the Eucharist, and then the 2 confirmation lessons appear. I prepare for confirmation, and then the next one is what happens in confirmation. And then it goes back to the remaining lessons from the Eucharist lessons. And then inside we have all the different posters. You have the confirmation family time poster, which contains all of the lessons. And then the FAQ for confirmation. And the FAQ for First Eucharist as well. And then there's another poster that actually this talks about the First Eucharist lessons themselves. And then the other poster, I should have clarified that. The other poster just talks about the gifts of the Spirit in conjunction with confirmation prep. So it's actually like a bonus poster. So it's great. It's great that the parents have all these tools for them as they help their children, whether they're the main catechist or they're assisting you in that formation. Terry, anything else on the student lessons before we move on?
No, I think we're good. You're good.
Okay, then we have teaching guides for First Reconciliation, First Eucharist, and then the combined confirmation with First Eucharist. And for those who aren't familiar with the confirmation, First Eucharist, this is for what most would call restored order, or if a child in second or third grade or around that age is receiving confirmation and Eucharist at the same ceremony. So they have to prepare together for that. Some dioceses do that and don't have confirmation at a later age. So that's what we're referring to when we say that. The Director's Handbook for coordinating the program in parishes, and that's something that you can download on our website, and I'll be showing you more about that later. This is the Director's Manual. It really walks you through the whole program, and kind of like what we're doing here. It provides information for catechist training and for parent meetings, and then different handouts in the back, like this one, Child Sacrament History. It's just different ways to help you in preparing for the program. A music accompaniment and CD. So we have a CD by John Berlin. Actually, there's 2 CDs in this set that has music for First Reconciliation, Confirmation, and First Eucharist. These are songs that could be used in the classroom and also during the celebrations at the parish. And each lesson in the teaching guide refers to a lesson song that's also found on the CDs. And
I just want to underscore that a little bit.
Sure.
Music is really important to use in a program. And I think even more so, we want to use music that we are going to be using at our celebrations. And as David said, this CD does have that for you, because as you are playing the music during the lessons, then they get to know the music and can sing the music, which means they will participate more at their First Eucharist celebrations.
Absolutely, thank you. And then this is a great gift for your music director. This has all of the accompaniment music, guitar and keyboard for the songs in the program. So this is another way to link the learning experience, the catechesis, into the actual celebration. So that's available as well.
And all of the lyrics are available online.
Yes, on the website, and we'll show that later. All the lyrics to the songs are available on the website, the Pflaum website. We also have certificates. So you can purchase there. You'll see it in our catalog, or you can ask your sales representative. So we have a First Reconciliation certificate, and this doesn't say I received First Reconciliation, because really it's supposed to be an anonymous, private thing. This just says that they've prepared for the sacrament. So this certificate kind of differs from the others, just that they've prepared for the sacrament. And then we have for First Eucharist, this says the date, and it allows a pastor and prepared by, so catechist and pastor could sign that. And then we have one for both First Eucharist and Confirmation. They're available in Spanish as a download. So if you do need a bilingual or Spanish certificate, you can contact your customer service representative, or you can email me at editor@pflaum.com if you need the Spanish versions of those. And speaking of that, I do want to mention that the folders, I'm jump back, but I want to make sure I mention this. The folders for First Eucharist and Reconciliation is the same setup as you saw with the English, but they're set up as bilingual. So you'll see both the English nest of lessons and stickers, and a separate one for Spanish. And this is helpful, especially, as I'm sure Terry could add, for parents who may not speak English, that you may teach the lesson in English, but then it needs to go home. So the parents are learning what the children are learning, and they have it in Spanish. Terry, would that be?
It also allows, when you do have the bilingual, it may, again, be teaching it in English, but the parents could choose to do the family time poster in Spanish at home as well.
Great. The other, we have bookmarks are also available. These are great gifts from the parish to give. So my first Eucharist, my first reconciliation. On the Eucharist bookmark, there's a little prayer on the top, and then the Lord's Prayer. And then on the back of this one is for the reconciliation is the act of contrition. So this is a great keepsake as they're receiving their first sacrament. They're nervous going in the reconciliation room. They could bring this if you want them to do that, or this is just a keepsake for the next time that they go receive the sacrament. We also have the Together in Jesus website, which we will go through at the end of the presentation. Just to note about the teaching guides, there's some great information on the front that talks about the purpose and vision of the program and in ways that can be used, similar to, again, what we're talking about here. How to get organized and setting up workstations and story circles and all those different things. How to use the Together in Jesus program with the Pflaum Gospel Weeklies, if you would like to do that. And then talking about the handouts that are at the end of each lesson, the prayer rituals that go along with each lesson. And then again, those special handouts that you'll see, first Eucharist registration. I mean, most obviously do these things digitally now, but it is helpful, should you need it, to have these things available. Maybe the parents fill out this information and then it gets entered into a database. Each lesson has a background page. It lists the objectives, the lesson overview, preparation and materials, and then the prayer with the song for the lesson. And then in a wraparound format, you'll see the student lesson here with the teaching material that corresponds with that page. And it just follows the full lesson like that. At the end, and each lesson has something special at the end of each lesson, there's a handout. So this one, they are presented at the end of lesson 1, the Lord's Prayer. And then it would begin the next lesson. And at the end of the entire teaching guide, there's a list of prayers. So this, while most of them are in the folder, you could copy this and send this home as a reminder of the prayers that the children should learn. And this has how to receive Holy Communion on the back. And on the back of the first reconciliation, you see the act of contrition here. And then the end of the reconciliation teaching guide is a family reconciliation prayer, which can be done at home too. Anything about the teaching guides, Terry?
No, you're good.
So for first reconciliation, the themes of the 6 reconciliation lessons: I belong to a loving community, we keep God's commandments, we can act like Jesus, Jesus teaches us to forgive, Jesus gives us the Holy Spirit, I prepare for first reconciliation. So those 6 themes really do cover most, I would say all, of what you should know, or the children should know, for preparing for first sacrament of reconciliation. And with that, the highlights: Good Samaritan, the examination of conscience is taught throughout the lessons, and twice in particular. Moses and the 10 Commandments, the Sermon on the Mount, story of the prodigal son, and the parts of reconciliation, the walk through the sacrament, and then how to. They make an actual booklet at the end in the last lesson that prepares them. It's a little booklet that walks them through what will happen during the sacrament. So that really does cover most, if not all, of the themes that you would need to prepare for first reconciliation. And one thing, I know you cannot see this on the screen likely, but we will have this up on our website very shortly. This is a special new scope and sequence that's been added for parents. There are a lot of programs that do have the parents preparing the children at home, or at least going over the lesson, following along at home. And this breaks down the 6 lessons with the objectives, the scripture reading, the activity, the materials and symbols, and then the handouts. It gives in one page all of the things that a parent would need to know to teach the lesson. So it gets them a little, maybe a little less nervous about doing that. I remember when I was a DRE and we had the parents prepare the children at home, the anxiety came from the parents that they didn't feel worthy, or they didn't have the tools, they didn't know how. So one thing we try to do at Pflaum is to help those parents, or help you to help the parents, to feel more comfortable in doing these things. So this is why we've added this feature, and again, it will be available on the parent page of the website very soon. Terry, anything else before we move on?
No, I think it's a really easy one-page thing that can be added to also, even if you don't have parents running it themselves, at a parent meeting, this is a great way to be able to see what we're doing at a glance.
Right. Yeah, if you're presenting during a parent meeting, you can hand this out and say, this is what we're doing in the class during the session, or you can just put it in the folder so the parents see that. It's also helpful for catechists, especially first-time catechists, where you really can kind of streamline what's being presented, because especially new catechists do get overwhelmed as well, and maybe a little nervous. And this should help steer them in the right direction and maybe lessen that anxiety. Okay, for First Eucharist, the themes of the 6 First Eucharist lessons are: I belong to a loving community. Our community remembers Jesus. Jesus gathers people together. Jesus' special supper. Our community shares a meal. My first Eucharist book. Again, covering most, if not all, of the themes. And I say most because you may find that your diocese has special requirements in addition to this, or your parish may have, or your pastor may have certain things that you'd want to include on top of the themes that are presented.
But I would say, though, because it's found in conformity, we do have the elements that the bishops would like to have for us, right?
Absolutely. Yes, these are reviewed on 2 different levels, as most programs are. It has an imprimatur from a local diocese, as well as conformity from the subcommittee on the catechism, which requires a program to be in conformity to have certain elements to cover sacrament preparation. And these are things that are submitted, the lessons are submitted to the bishops for review and then approval to show completeness in conjunction with the catechism of the Catholic Church. That's a good point, Terry. Thank you for mentioning that.
And, and when you say there may be some other things a diocese may request, some dioceses request that people have a retreat as part of their program. One diocese out here in California, everybody goes to the same retreat center to be able to do that. Other people do it locally, or you may be doing tours of the church. There's all kinds of other little components. Some people even have a service component as part of their First Communion program or their reconciliation program. So I think that's how it fits into what David commented about it being most. That we are lacking in.
Yeah, and you may find in your program that there are other things that you want to include as well. We have it really. We feel we covered quite a bit already, but there's always room. You say, we should do more with the parents going to a walk through the church, and we actually have a sticker sheet poster that says, "What do I see in church?" And you can take that around, or the parents can take that around with their children. So if you have something like that, a need for that, and you can look at our catalog for that. It's called "What Do I See in Church?" So we do try to provide those extra additional things to enhance the lessons.
Or just ask your consultant too. I mean, whoever.
Yes.
Your Pflaum consultant certainly can make recommendations if you're looking for something in particular.
Lesson highlights talk about the sacraments of Christian initiation. So we also talked about baptism and confirmation in this program, as well, of course, as the Confirmation First Eucharist program. The stories, symbols, and seasons of the church. Story of Zacchaeus. Jesus feeds a crowd. The Last Supper. Parts of the Mass, and again, similar to the reconciliation program, they make a Mass book. And this also is the first Eucharist scope and sequence at a glance for parents, like we mentioned earlier. So this does walk through the basic components, the key components of each lesson. Very helpful. For confirmation and First Eucharist, again, there are 8 lessons, not just the 6, for confirmation and First Eucharist. So the lessons noted here in the black text are the same as the Eucharist program, and the 2 in red are the ones that are unique to the confirmation program. So lesson 1, I belong to the loving community. Next, I prepare for confirmation. What happens in confirmation? Our community remembers Jesus. Jesus gathers people together. Jesus' special supper. Our community shares a meal, and my First Eucharist book. The lesson highlights for this program: Pentecost, the teaching of the Holy Spirit, the chrism oil that would be used during the sacrament of confirmation, the confirmation book as well that will walk through the rite of confirmation, and all highlights from the Eucharist lessons that we went over earlier. To cover again the teaching guides, they're available in English and Spanish, a step-by-step 60-minute plan for each lesson. That's a guided, suggested guideline, suggested lesson. Some have them longer, some have them shorter. This is, a typical 60-minute program, and it includes an overview, specific objectives, preparation suggestions, and an opening prayer. Annotated illustrations of the children's handout are incorporated into the guide to guarantee teaching directions will be easy to follow and lessons will be successful. And each lesson concludes with a reproducible prayer ritual to reinforce the power of prayer in all that we do. Bonus resources for program directors, catechists, and parents. We're going to go through these points here on the slides, and then we'll go over to the website to look at some of these things. So there's a special learning needs guide for reconciliation and Eucharist. This is very helpful, especially if parents are teaching their children at home. This is a printout of the first reconciliation special needs guide. And you can print this, download this, print this, you can email it to a parent, and it goes through how to adapt the program for children with special needs. Very helpful tool that's been requested, and we provide that for you here. Online, you'll see a correlation to the Good News program, the Pflaum Gospel Weekly's Good News program, which is typically the same age as the children preparing for first sacraments. Articles from Catechist, Catholic Digest, and Today's Catholic Teacher. Lesson review templates, and there's a small image of that. Excuse me. For the lesson review template, this is another way, and Terry mentioned about the stickers or sending how we keep track, if you're running a program, how we keep track that the lessons are actually being taught. This is another way. It's a very simple but useful tool where it's a handout. You give it to the families or they download it. They put their name and they sign it. The parents sign it. Write one thing you learn in this lesson. Write or draw your favorite part of the lesson. And this is also available in Spanish. So it's not a test or a quiz, but it's certainly a way to know that something's being taught at home, because they need to know the lesson to be able to write something or draw something on this page. Also, bonus resources for catechists and parents. Lesson videos. We have videos for each lesson in English and Spanish that could be used at home, that could be used during a group meeting, that could be used as part of the class. Just again, how you feel it works for your program. But we have several lesson videos for each lesson in the program.
But I do want to comment on the videos in that they're short. They're not a full lesson. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to send their children as for a preparation program. So I think of them more as an introduction or an enhancement to what you're doing.
Absolutely. Song lyrics, as we mentioned earlier. Coloring pages. There are some pages using the art by Deacon Jim Burrows. We have, I'll show you, this is Deacon's art. It's very nicely done. And we have them sometimes in black and white where the children can color. And again, I'll show you those pages in a little bit. Words to know, prayers to know in both English or bilingual format. The lesson review templates that I just spoke about. The home guides for parents in English or Spanish. And the home guide is another tool that if the parents are teaching it at home, it's a 1 to 2 page overview of how to teach the lesson at home. So it takes the teaching guide and scales it back for parents. And this is just a printout example of that. It gives an overview. It teaches different steps of what to do. The objectives are listed here. And even if they have the link, rather than you printing these out, you can just email these home like an e-blast. You can click on this link here, and it takes them to the videos for the lesson. So it's another way to present the program. And they're available in English and Spanish as well. And then we're working on lesson preparation videos, which are great for new catechists as well as for parents, that will walk through the highlights of the teaching guide. They're short, maybe about 3 to 4 minutes, that will walk over the key elements of presenting a lesson. We find that catechists prepare in different ways. And the more that we provide a variety of resources to help them prepare, makes them stronger catechists. Some bonus resources for parents. Again, some of these overlap. The home guides, as I mentioned, the lesson review templates, prayers to know, words to know, coloring pages, and those preparation videos. So there are 3 tabs on the website, which I will again show you soon. There's one for program directors, for catechists, and for parents. So some of those things will appear on more than one tab, and others are unique to a particular page. So before we jump to the end of the PowerPoint here, I'm going to jump over to our the website. And Terry, is there anything else you want to add while I'm setting that up?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Now the website is password protected. Is that correct, Dave?
Well, they have to. Everybody has to register. Our Pflaum Gospel Weekly's website is password protected, but for customer use. Since we have parents going to this quite a bit, it might be hard to have registration and passwords set up. This is available. The only thing that they have to do, or you would have to do, is to enter your email address, and that's your login. So it just helps us track who is using the site, but there's no restriction on it. So this is the first page that comes up, and you'll see that you can click on the different programs up top.
And this is pflaum.com.
Correct, thank you. And pflaum.com, and more specifically, pflaum.com/togetherinjesus, and it is noted on the back of the folders. You'll see that on the back of the folders. It's in case you forget. But you can go to pflaum.com/togetherinjesus, one word, and you can click on the different programs. This is our confirmation program, Together in Jesus, the Gospel Weeklies, and Children Celebrate. And this is the main page that will come up for Together in Jesus, which gives an overview, a walkthrough of the program, and highlights. And then you'll see over on the side, bonus resources. When you click on that, save us time, I already have it here. The bonus resources are where all the information that we talked about is available. And we have this set up that we can add as we go along. If there are new suggestions that you have, it'd be great if we had this. And we're able to provide that. You'll see that here. And one example is that one-page overview, scope and sequence that we will be adding soon. So here you'll see program directors, catechists, and parents. So each one has different tab. And right now I have the catechist tab clicked on. You'll notice it says resources to support 2-year sacramental preparation programs. It's not that we have a program that can be used in 2 years' time. It's that we're providing resources for your programs to help support you, because there are a lot of parishes and dioceses that require more than 1 year preparation, where a child just shows up in September and wants to receive communion in May. And we know that happens a lot. There's an expectation from families that maybe they don't understand the purpose of preparing, how long they need to prepare. So we give you the material, and then you can decide, or we have some suggestions too, of how these things can be incorporated over a year prior to the immediate preparation of the sacrament. So here, this is again for the catechist tab. You'll see the special learning needs guides like I showed you earlier. the song lyrics. You can purchase downloads of the music if you don't want the CDs, or you want to just download specific songs. You can download them similar to iTunes, and you can order the CDs here as well. So I can show you.
Now, David, people always ask if there's a way to download individual songs.
There are on the if you click on that link, yes, you can purchase the individual songs or the full selection. So here's how the CD looks, or the lyrics for each CD. And you can download or print this out. Okay. And then coloring pages. This will give you the coloring pages for the whole program, where this is the Holy Spirit one, so it could be for confirmation, where you would actually print out these, and this could be a great activity to send home. Baptism of Jesus, talks about the church, Pentecost, and then there's a great one, it's a landscape format of the Last Supper. This one is Jesus asked his followers to prepare a special meal. The Annunciation. So there's some nice things there that kind of enhance the program. Prayers to know and words to know. And all of these things could be printed out or downloaded, or you can send the link home in an e-blast to parents. This lists all main prayers that children at this age should know. The lesson review templates, you have one for reconciliation, Eucharist, and confirmation. And so this is the reconciliation one that I opened up, and it has both the English and the Spanish on the same PDF. You can just print out the page that you need.
And those are great even if a child just misses one lesson. So a parent is kind of doing catch up at home.
That's right, yeah. So here, this is a growing list of articles. As you may know, Pflaum is part of Bayard Publishing, which also publishes Catechist Magazine, Catholic Digest, Today's Catholic Teacher. So anytime there's an article that really is relevant to sacramental prep, we've added it here. And these are great additions. This is an example of things to provide, resources to provide when you're preparing for a 2-year program. So the First Communion is in 2nd grade. Children are there in 1st grade. These are things that can be sent home throughout the year of 1st grade and 2nd grade that just talk about the sacraments or about the Mass. And this is here, The Busy Parent's Guide to Family Faith. The family that prays together stays together, an article about that. So there's lots of different resources here. And we continue to add as articles are written. Right now, there's in the current issue of Catechist, there's a great article by Bishop McManus here of Worcester Diocese about confirmation. So we will be adding that soon. So then it's the link, the Learning Needs Guide, the video links, and I'm going to show you that. So each lesson, this is it. I'll just go to the first lesson. Here's lesson 1, I belong to a loving community. So for reconciliation, these are the videos. There's a video on the Good Samaritan. There's a Lego story of the Good Samaritan. Kids just love Lego stories. I guess they're Lego movies, but
they're very cleverly done.
What is grace? And then you would click on the different pages here to go through all 6 lessons of reconciliation. But again, as Terry mentioned, these are short video clips. They're not supposed to replace a catechist, but just to help support the lesson.
One thing I really like about the videos is that there's a variety of styles in the videos. So not doing the same thing over and over, which might bore students, and it also gives you a chance to kind of tailor what fits best for your own parish. Absolutely. And just like you would for any other activity, and this is helpful, especially for new catechists, preview the videos ahead of time. And like Terry said, maybe you select one. You don't have to show all of them. You select one for the class, you send one home, or you can just say, here's a link, you send it home to parents. Please watch this video as you teach the lesson at home, or as a refresher to reinforce the message that was taught. So you don't have to send all the videos home and let the parents figure out which ones to watch. You could select which one you think is appropriate for your group.
So we have
The other thing is grandparents might want to share those videos at home with their, especially if parents are doing daycare for the children after school, whatever. You know, those are great links for them because they want to be able to support as the whole process.
Right, yes. And so there's reconciliation video links, First Eucharist, confirmation added with the First Eucharist videos, and then videos available in Spanish as well. Correlation to the Gospel Weeklies. So this is another example of how we link the programs together. Glossary of terms for children to know, and then those home guide e-blasts for parents. On the parent page, we have the learning needs guide, the review templates, the coloring pages, the prayers to know, those articles as we talked about, so they can go right to that page themselves and explore on their own. So you have both learning needs guides, reconciliation, Eucharist, the lyrics, again, so the parents could download the songs if they want as well, those home guides, and then the glossary of terms. So prayers and terms to know. Back over at the program directors page, we have that handbook that I showed you. You can print it out, like I did here. It walks through the program, the learning needs guides. There's an article here for suggested accommodations for using Together in Jesus with children with special needs. So it's an additional resource for that. Again, on the articles as well, and then lesson review template. So soon we'll have lesson prep videos, 3 to 4 minute overview videos for catechists and parents, and we will be uploading those scope and sequence pages for parents as well.
Well, and David, I don't know if this is the time to say it, but we also are pretty excited about that we're going to have a music CD in Spanish.
Yes.
And what's great about that is that because also being, formatted by John Berlin, that's music that you could combine with the English and the Spanish, going back and forth, so you do some bilingual music at your liturgies.
Absolutely. Yeah, that will be available in the spring of 2020. John's recording, in the process of recording those now.
And for those of you on the western side of the world, hopefully we'll have it by the LA Congress.
Right. One other resource, also by Deacon Jim Burrows, we have Receive the Lord, which is a sticker booklet just released that walks through sacramental First Communion prep with the sticker sheets, sticker pages, just like the lesson. So this is a great additional tie-in that it just actually came out last month or so. So that's it. So again, if you have any questions, please contact us at editor@pflaum.com. Hope this has been helpful. Terry, do you have anything else to add before we conclude?
No, except that enjoy the process. This is an exciting time for young people. We also want to encourage them to be going to Mass on a basis, so this is not their first and only Eucharist, and even reconciliation for that matter. We want to be able to help them become practicing Catholics, just know a lot about what Eucharist is.
So again, I want to thank you for your time. Please contact us if you have any questions. Contact your customer service representative. Email me at editor@pflaum.com. God bless and have a great day.
All right.